Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner faces mounting pressure to resign this morning after admitting underpaying £40,000 in stamp duty on her flat in Hove.
And among the critics is the Conservative Party chairman, Kevin Hollinrake, who reported the issue to HM Revenue and Customs overnight. He's demanding an urgent investigation into the tax elements of that. Mr Hollinrake joins us now from Westminster. Good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Morning.
Clearly, Angela Rayner has made a catastrophic error here. She's admitted she's got this wrong. She's referred herself to the independent ethics commissioner appointed by the last government, who's going to look into this to see whether or not it was an inadvertent mistake, whether she was badly advised, or whether, in fact, she got things wrong in terms of what she was telling them or what her motives were. Is your judgment that the right thing to do now is to wait to hear from the independent ethics commissioner, or do you want her to resign now anyway?
I think she should resign. I don't think her position is tenable. You know, the situation is she's Deputy Prime Minister, so representative of the government as a whole. She's Housing Secretary, and clearly this is a matter that relates to housing. And the information is readily available. If you look on the HMRC website, it clearly sets out on the first page that trusts count in terms of a primary home. And I think it's got to be taken into account that Angela Rayner and Keir Starmer have been so outspoken in terms of tax avoidance carried out by others. And the reality is this goes beyond tax avoidance. Tax avoidance is the lawful mechanism to reduce tax. Well, this is not lawful. That's the point. So I don't see how she can just categorise this as an error and simply stay in post. I think sooner or later, given her position and given the fact that lots of other people up and down the country are struggling to pay their taxes right now, increased taxes by this government, potentially more taxes coming down the track, I just don't see how she can hang on.
You've made a lot of accusations there, but we are waiting for that independent inquiry, aren't we? And Nadine Zahawi, in your party, eventually resigned, but in fact, actually was found to have underpaid his tax by some £5 million. And your party at the time said, we must wait to find out the facts. Why are you holding Angela Rayner to a different standard?
Because she's held herself to a different standard. She's taken a moral position on that particular issue. And the reality is, as we all know, if this had been a Conservative Member of Parliament today, Angela Rayner would be calling for their resignation. She's taken that position in the past.
You're now calling for her resignation and saying that she's unlawful. So you're setting yourself up. Does that mean that anybody in opposition who accuses anything of a government has to resign, even if it turns out it's been proved that she made a mistake, and which she's admitted, and paying the money? So you're now saying that she should go automatically?
Well, I think there's two things: the letter of the law, which is broken, and the spirit of the law, which is broken, in the fact that she's taken a moral position in the past that tax avoidance is wrong and that people who are guilty of that should resign summarily.
But we haven't yet had it proved, have we, that she was avoiding tax. She could have had duff advice. That's what she says. And you somehow jumping the gun and saying she should go anyway.
No, it's quite clear. I mean, of the facts, she's already admitted that she's underpaid her tax. And that, I say that's beyond avoidance. It's not avoidance. Avoidance is the lawful means of reducing your tax. This was not within the rules. That's the point. So this isn't. You'd have to wait for an investigation or for an inquiry to say whether she's broken the rules or not. She said she's broken the rules. Having taken a moral position in the past that is wrong and that people in that situation should resign summarily, which she has done. I think if she'd said in the past about in similar situations with parties, different parties, individuals in different parties, well, we should wait for the independent advisor to report on these things and innocent until proven guilty, perhaps that would be different. But that's not the position she's taken before. She's taking the position that if you're guilty of this stuff, which clearly she admits she is, you should resign.
This is
and I just don't think she can hang on.
This is a rather unusual argument that you're making, Mr Hollinrake. I have to say, your criticism of her is that she's taken a moral position and therefore she should be judged morally. In the case of Preeti Patel, there were allegations of bullying. This was referred to the independent advisor, Sir Alex Allen. He published a report which said her approach can be described as bullying in terms of the impact felt by individuals. And Boris Johnson decided to ignore the independent ethics commissioner, Alex Allen, stood by her and kept her in job. Now, on the basis of your argument, Angela Rayner took a moral position. She should resign. Boris Johnson and Priti Patel, I guess, took an amoral position, and therefore she was able to stay in jobs. Are you really saying that Boris Johnson and Priti Patel acted in an amoral way?
And that's not the point I was making at all, Ed.
That's exactly the point you were making. I listened to it
No,
very
it isn't the
carefully.
point I was making.
You say Angela Rayner has to resign because she demanded people acted morally. Did Priti Patel stay in her job because she didn't act morally, and that doesn't matter?
What I'm saying is Angela Rayner, if she doesn't resign, is guilty of gross hypocrisy. She said to other people they should resign in these situations, and I would say this situation is worse than those other situations in terms of tax avoidance. But the reality with this, of course, she's Deputy Prime Minister and she's Housing Secretary, and these transgressions directly relate to her role, as does the council tax issue, which is not being cleared up yet. And this is an obvious transgression of those rules. It is not difficult to see that she held a primary home and any other home was subject to the higher rates of stamp duty. That is the point. She is guilty of gross hypocrisy.
Robert Jenrick has come out and spoken about immigration, talking about having a period of 10 years of emigration, forced emigration. Do you support his thoughts? The party doesn't seem to support his thoughts. Is he just a lone wolf? And is this all just a reaction to how badly the Conservatives are doing against reform?
Well, I'm not sure what he said was inconsistent with party policy. We'll see that in detail rolled out in the next few weeks. I'm sure there'll be more announcements on that in the forthcoming conference. But we've already said there will be a strict cap on migration. There will be deportation of all illegal immigrants in the UK, all foreign national offenders, the extension of indefinite leave to remain. So I think we've come up with some very tough policies on migration. The actual detail on that, and I have a lot of sympathy with a lot of things Rob talks about, but the actual party policy on this will be rolled out in the coming weeks, and we'll see exactly what future conditions will put on that immigration. But they'll be, I can promise you now, they'll be very tough.
And we'll find out Angela Rayner's future as Deputy Prime Minister in the coming days as well. Mr. Hollinrake, thank you for joining us
this morning.
Much appreciated.